sections. The next section, I want to talk a little bit more about Hamas, of course. But just final question, George, for this particular section is, um, at the end of the day, what do you think is going to happen with this situation as you see it unfolding right now? Um, Obviously, I think that you have a belief, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Israel's beef is not necessarily with Hamas; it's more with the Palestinians. They want them gone. They want that land. I think we're kind of all been saying this for weeks, and this is just our opinion, everybody. Uh, you can have yours, but what do you think is going to happen right now? Because as we're sitting back and watching this, it's a different game. We have social media now, and no matter how much they try to suppress it, we can see what's going on. Not to mention, I also watched your video with Mohammed Morandi and Peter, and the IDF is not ready for this war. I've been saying this for quite some time.
I think you're right about that.
Oh, I know I'm right about that, because all of a sudden
I based it on the 7-hour lack of response to when Hamas.
Well, not even that. Just do the showing videos now in the Knesset and the party where they're coming out and they're crying and they're seeing IDF soldiers getting killed. And I don't know if whether you think it's an inside job or not, or a natural occurrence, whatever. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, they're not ready for this. I think the only reason why
we got to be dragged in. Huh? Of course they're not. That's why we got to be dragged in.
Well, we're. I mean, that's the thing. That if they think, and that's something
we're going
to
occupy. They want us.
They want us to put our green berets and our seals on the ground. We'll watch it for them. Warfare, and the Al Qassam Brigade is way more prepared for it than the IDF. So, what are your thoughts on what's going to happen right now? Let's put a bow on it right now and finish up this section before we get to the next one. George Samueli, go ahead.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think that there's a lot of big talk from Israeli publicists. We're so strong. This is going to be the final solution. No more Gaza wars. This is going to be the last one. We're going to clean out Gaza. They don't have the will. They don't have the resources. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the military skill. They don't have the military courage.
They don't have the guts
to do what's necessary to drive out 2 million people. They're not going to be able to do it. So it's a lot of big talk, because Israel has been very skillful, and its publicists even more skillful, at presenting Israel as this invincible power. It's always 1967, forever 1967. We're boom, boom, take that and this. How they said, oh, Israel can take on Iran, and boom, in a Sunday afternoon, by Sunday evening, it's already over. No, Israel cannot do any of these things. Israel doesn't have the resources. So I think they're going to continue, for a little while longer, pulverizing Gaza. Israel can do that. It's not hard to pulverize a piece of territory. And then they're going to call it a day. I don't think they're going to go for any of these, big, wild scenarios. And so it will be just like we had 2009, 2014, 2017. We go back, we kick the can down the road, and then we wait for the whole thing to start up again in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
Wrong. I wouldn't listen to this man at the Jimmy Dore show. This ain't 2009. This ain't 1967. None of that shit. He's wrong. This man is wrong, right? Things have just fundamentally changed, and Israel is not going. He said they're going to stop. They're just having fun pounding, unarmed civilians in the Gaza Strip, and they're going to try to split the strip in half and then move 2.2 million people into what's left of the Gaza Strip toward the Egyptian border, and then in a humanitarian catastrophe in 2023, and then in 3 years we're going to do it all again, and then they're going to go in and then bomb what's left of the Gaza Strip and start killing people again. Does anybody, I'm not sure where he's getting that analysis from. And then he goes on to say the Americans wouldn't back Israel, bombing Lebanon and bombing Iran. It's all just for show. I'm like, man, you don't live in America. I do. You're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Americans will 100%, 120% back bombing Iran, Lebanon, Egypt, Syria. They've been bombing. Obama bombed Syria his whole goddamn time he was in office. He launched Obama, right? These so-called liberal who got a Nobel Peace Prize launched 2 wars. Launched a war on Libya and Syria pretty much simultaneously, and bombed had these countries bombed, right? This so-called, I don't know what is he supposed to be, some, civil rights black president, Nobel Peace Prize winner. I mean, there's some of the phoniest Nazi propaganda you ever want to see in your life, right? This motherfucker started bombing Libya and launched a war against Libya, had the president drawn out by some terrorists, Arab terrorists, raped with a pipe, sodomized with a pipe, and had his brains blown out in the middle of the street on videotape. That's Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, right? And carpet bombed the country, starting a African slave trade at the hands of the Arabs, where they're selling black people right now in Libya for about $200. That's Obama, right? But this man right here said, he goes on to say, I cut it off, but he goes on to say the Americans won't back an expansion of the war. Now that was your so-called most liberal. This is what they call liberalism in the United States. This is Nazism, right? Done by a bunch of diversity Nazis. Some of them with black face on, right? A bunch of black face Nazis, like the black Democrats in America. See, that's why I said the prophecies are true. The Negro followed all of this. The Negro is going to be destroyed in America, right? The Negro followed and supported bombing Syria and an African country, Libya, by the so-called first black president in the United States. Does that make sense? The so-called first black president bombed and destroyed an African country and allowed the implementation of slavery of black people at the hands of Arabs in Libya. Go look it up. This is CNN. This is not a conspiracy theory for the stupid people, right? But this white man sits here and says, well, he goes on to say, America would never support an expansion of, of the war. If the Israelis want to bomb Lebanon, they want to bomb, Iran, they want to bomb Syria. They already bombing Syria. They already bombing Lebanon, right? If they want to bomb anybody else, well, the Americans wouldn't stand for that. Joe Biden wouldn't stand for that. They already did it. By who was Obama's vice president when he was bombing Libya and Syria? And they're bombing Syria right now in other countries. They're bombing Syria. They sent Ukrainian operatives into Sudan. This is reported on the CNN. This is on my page. In the Sudan to run strikes against the Sudanese because they won't cooperate, right? So what are you talking about, white man on Jimmy Dore? Do not listen to these people. He has no idea. This man is in Europe. He's in Europe telling you what's going to happen in America and Israel. He living probably in I don't know, fucking Germany somewhere. I don't know when the last time you've been to the United States. I don't know if he claimed to be an expert on Israel. I mean, I'm not sure if you're watching these people closely, but you gotta be out of your mind to say that the Americans are not gonna support Israel bombing other countries in that area. What are you talking about? When was that true? They've been bombing a country. They're bombing Syria right now. They're bombing Lebanon right now. The most so-called liberal, right, anti-war presidents was Obama. I guess was Obama, right? Well, if Obama was launching wars against Libya, Syria, they called Obama the drone king. All hail the drone king. Obama killed 3,000 people. He signed off on 3,000 airstrikes. You know how many of them were actually terrorists? Maybe 2%. Like, the rest of the people he killed were people at weddings, people who weren't affiliated. They come to find out, people that weren't affiliated with any type of militant activity, rebel activity, or anything. They weren't affiliated with no, terrorist groups or anything like that. He just killed them. They called him the drone king, right? People with the pictures of Obama on your refrigerator, particularly a Negro, You are fucking disgusting. You are very offensive to God, you see. And ignorance is no excuse at this point, right? Elections have consequences. You're about to find that out. Who destabilized Ukraine? Well, Obama ran the destabilization campaign with a woman named Victoria Nuland against Ukraine, which started the war that they have today, led by who? Obama's vice president, Joe Biden. What are you, stupid? How fucking stupid can you be? It's the same characters, right? He just picked up with Obama and them, and that's on videotape. I mean, I'm sorry, audio. You can go online and listen to the audio somebody secretly recorded of Victoria Nuland, who worked for Obama, who was in Ukraine, and they taped her talking about the whole process. She was saying stuff like "fuck the Ukrainian," this, that, and that. She was, I mean, a real vile Israeli woman, a Jewish Israeli woman who works for the Obama administration. All led up to this. But now this white man comes on with Jimmy Dore and says, "Oh, yeah, they're gonna bomb and strip Gaza, and they're gonna bomb Gaza, kill about 15,000 people, split Gaza in half, wound another maybe 15, 20,000, and then later on, about 3 years down the road, they're gonna finish the job and start bombing the rest of Gaza and ethnically cleansed." Really? And the Americans, if the Israelis decide to expand at this point, right, the Americans won't support it. Historically, where are you getting that from? You got one of the most right-wing governments in Israel and one of the most Nazi right-wing governments in the United States under Joe Biden. Do you not know who Joe Biden is? Do you not understand who these American people are? Do you not know the history over the past 20 years? Iraq, Libya, Syria, so on and so on. Are you not watching the news? Are you that stupid? I mean, he claimed to be an expert. This man said, "I'm an expert. Bring him on the Jimmy Dore show." No, you're delusional, sir. Like I'm just some stupid Negro. I know better than that. They will support the Americans and white people in America and all the Americans will support anything they want to do 100%, particularly because they're not white people. So pretty much 100%, they will support bombing Libya, Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Iran, Afghanistan. They've already done. Iraq. They've already done. I mean, they've been doing it. Have you seen anybody stop them? I mean, it's like if I'm saying something wrong, correct me. But if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. But they've been bombing all these places for the past 20 years, sir. What do you mean America is going to stop them? America has been helping. America has been leading the bombing of all these places. I don't understand what you mean. What are you talking about? America has been bombing. Iraq, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan for the past 20 years. What the fuck are you talking about? They're not going to support bombing, Iran or any of these places around there. They're already bombing them. What you're saying doesn't make sense. They will absolutely support Americans, and the American government will absolutely support bombing Iran. Will absolutely support bombing people that they're already bombing. What you're saying don't make sense, man. You better get ready, because with this man, like, and this Jimmy Dore, they supposed to be, I guess, progressive, liberal, whatever. Never listen to white people. I mean, like Malcolm X said, never trust white people. Right? This man doesn't know what he's talking about. He's the expert. Now, this is the guy as the expert. They brought him on Jimmy Dore show. I just debunked his expertise, right? I just debunked his expertise. He's not an expert making statements like that. I'm not gonna make this too long. I think I made my point, right? Let me just say this and go. He's wrong. The Jimmy Dore show, this shit is bullshit. He's wrong. What's gonna happen is they're gonna 100% support anything these people want to do, and they're gonna light the world on fire within the next, I don't know, let's say 6 months. Every time I say that, it happens like within weeks, but I'm gonna just say 6 months, right? Go back and look at a couple of my videos, but I'm gonna say 6 months. Hopefully, you may only have 6 weeks, but I'm gonna say just to be conservative, 6 months. They're gonna light the world on fire. This man is wrong. The Americans are going to 100% support bombing everybody in the Middle East because they're already bombing them. They already bombed Iraq. They've already bombed Afghanistan. They've already bombed Palestine. They already bombed Lebanon. They're already bombing Syria. So I don't understand what he's talking about. And these are under the so-called most liberal circumstances, the most anti-war circumstances. They're doing this, right? What do you think they're gonna do now? So my prediction is they will. This will accelerate. They're gonna try. If they try to do what he said they're gonna do in Gaza, they're gonna continue to kill people, right? And then split Gaza in half, and then force 2.2 million people into half the space against the Egyptian border. That shit is going to implode. It is going to fucking implode immediately. He says, "Oh no, about 3 years down the road, they're gonna do that, and then 3 years they'll start bombing Gaza again." Are you insane? He's an expert. Are you not watching what's going on? Listen, but way before that happens, like I said, in the next 6 months, they're gonna light the world on fire, and there's no way out of this, right? At this point, they are not. The Israelis are not going to back off. You see what they just told Joe Biden. This man just sat there and said, the Americans will tell them, well, y'all go at it alone if y'all don't stop. You see what they just told Joe Biden? We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. They're not bluffing. These people are Nazis, right? They're not bluffing. They're going to keep going. They're going to push, and as far as they want to push, one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff came out and said they support Israel 100%. What the fuck is this man talking about? I just watched it this morning. He said whatever they want to do, we with them 100%. We don't care. Matter of fact, he said the opposite of what Joe Biden said. Lloyd Austin and all the military people are supporting Israel. They don't want no ceasefire. They want to expand everything. They want to attack Iran. They want to attack Lebanon. They want to attack Syria. They're saying the opposite of Joe Biden. I mean, this was on the news this morning. But this man is an expert in saying he's an expert in that they're going to kill maybe 15,000 people, and then they'll say, okay, cool, and then they'll wait, and they're going to start it up, split Gaza in half, and then start up 3 years from later, and then start bombing people again. That's not what's happening. They're going to light the world on fire within the next 6 months. Over the next well, you got 1 month in. So I'll count this 1 month and say you got 5 months. Over the next coming 5-6 months, we're already a month in. They're gonna continue to set the world on fire. And as they murder and genocide these people, right? Even if they try to pause it a little bit, right? Watch what happens around you. Watch what happens around you. Everywhere around the world, and that particularly in certain areas, is going to change. It's going to become unsafe. You know what I mean? Particularly, around these certain, you're going to start seeing, shit that you probably gonna make you real uncomfortable with traveling certain places. You see? Put it like this: I wouldn't be traveling to Europe or nowhere near the Middle East being an American, particularly like, you know, I mean, they might not want me, but other people, they might want them, right? But just, I wouldn't even take a chance. Like, I'm not traveling nowhere. I wouldn't travel nowhere near Europe, south of Europe, Middle East, Dubai, any of all that shit. Man, that shit would be out. Trust me. You know, places like majority Islamic countries like Malaysia, different places. Yeah, I would stay away from them places. Just FYI. This man doesn't know what he's talking about. This is going to continue, expand. They're going to set the world on fire within the next 5 months. We already 1 month in, right? And it ain't gonna be safe. You know what I mean? It's safe to say it ain't gonna be safe outside in certain places, right? I wouldn't go. I mean, people do whatever they want. Certain places I just wouldn't go. You know, and I'm all for traveling and seeing the world. But yes, if you're smart, certain places you probably should stay out of moving forward, right? And people gonna see that very quickly. There's no way what they started they're gonna just do what he said. They're gonna split Gaza in half, you know, kill about 20,000 people, and then wait a year or two, and then it start over again. It's gonna be business as usual. And that if they want to expand and strike Iran and strike other countries, they're not gonna let them or support them. That is bullshit. That's all I got.